until 9 a.m. on a Thursday morning. Welcome in. Safe travels into work, into school, wherever you may be headed on said Thursday morning. I want to keep thinking it's Friday. I keep thinking it's Wednesday, but it's actually Thursday. So here we go. We got the right day down. Now we can get the rest of it out of the way. Boy, oh boy, we got a lot of fun stuff for you. A lot of good stuff. 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And we welcome your thoughts, your opinions, everything that you have in your thoughts going on this morning. Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, and we want to hear from you. We've got a lot of good stuff to get to. Major League Baseball from yesterday. Braves get it done in the new Big Apple. College football news and notes. Plenty of stuff going on there. And we're actually going to talk for the first time. I don't remember doing it, but we're actually going to talk some lacrosse today. Not something that we talk a lot about, but Les Studeman is on the road at Choccolocco Park, and this is her day usually to join us, tell stories, and all that fun stuff, but she's a little busy. They got to win yesterday against Lee, and they may have to play today, I think, she said, so she was not going to be talking to us. So we're going to talk some UAH lacrosse later in the show, something I don't know much about, but we'll figure it out as we go along. What are we going to get to today? Well, Jimbo Fisher back at it again, and we'll talk about that. Some interesting developments in the Jordan Addison transfer portal saga. We'll fill you in with all of that and some baseball talk along the way. But we do start with our good friend Jimbo Fisher, who just keeps putting, I don't know, he just keeps giving us things to talk about during this off season. And SEC Media Days will be very entertaining when Texas A&M makes their way to the stage. That is for sure. Jimbo Fisher was at the Houston Touchdown Club. And remember, wasn't it last year, Drew, where he said, wasn't it at the Houston Touchdown Club where he said he was going to beat Alabama? Or was that last year?
Yes, that was last year. He had one lie he didn't tell.
So anyway, and Jimbo Fisher yesterday was asked about NIL, and he was asked about things. I will say this. The reporter that asked the question asked it in a way that Jimbo Fisher answered it with the exact words that the reporter used. The reporter asked Jimbo Fisher, should there be guardrails put up when it comes to NIL deals? Here is Jimbo Fisher's response.
There has to be some kind of rules and guardrails. There's no doubt when things are changing. I mean, because, like I said, usually you go ready, aim, shoot. We went ready, shoot, aim, because every state kind of did its own thing and have uniform rules and laws and everything that goes with it. And I think that should definitely be in place. And now, whoever can put that in place, I think it's a very touchy matter as far as I think from the legal system and all the things that go on in that. But I think something has to be done to have some uniformity, to have some consistency.
So from an at-home perspective, how has having collective around helped, and how have you seen it affect the players that you have?
It really hasn't affected our guys. I mean, as far as how they play, what they do, we're not involved in that. So we can't be involved in that. So it hasn't, I mean, from that facet of it, in my opinion, it hasn't been a factor. I mean, guys have them. I don't know what they are, don't know when they are, but it's not a big component as far as the way I see them act or play or participate or anything like that.
What are some of the things in the years moving forward you think I've seen some coaches talking about potentially guys coming in kind of with big deals and they haven't necessarily done anything on the field quite yet, just the challenge of kind of motivating players?
Well, it's just like you're doing in pro ball. I mean, it's what you're basically doing. So I don't know. I haven't had those, so I guess we'll all have to address those as they come. But I think there's only certain states, is there 5 states, I may be wrong on that have ability to do that in high school? Is that right? Or that? I don't know. I mean, I know Texas doesn't. So I think that's why originally why Ewers went to Ohio State early and what he did and then came back. But I mean, because you couldn't have him in high school sports here in Texas. I mean, I think that's a really tough avenue when you get into the high school game brand of that thing. So I haven't never had to deal with that, so I can't answer that.
All right, there's Jimbo Fisher from the Touchdown Club in Houston yesterday.
Yeah, one lie after another. I mean, he may not have had to deal with a high school player getting branded and being able to sign deals, but he certainly gave a defensive lineman $400,000 in some sort of Hawaiian vacation, and he certainly gave a wide receiver $800,000 for the kid ever played a game. So,
Do you think he did it?
he knows what happened. I don't want to don't start people giving me this crap about, well, he doesn't know what, these players are being. Of course he knows what they're being given. He recruited them. He knows what these boosters are offering these kids because they're working in concert together, because these boosters wouldn't know who to recruit. First of all, that's who Jimbo would tell them, hey, we're going to need extra money for so-and-so because our program sucks and we lose 4 games a year and otherwise we can't sign him. So, again, they're going to have to be directed, okay? The head coach knows everything that's going on, all right? Period. All that crap about, oh, well, I didn't know anything was going on. Bull crap. You know everything that's going on in your programs because first of all, these college coaches are egomaniacs,
Right.
and they're control freaks, okay? It's their future. They're the one making all the money. And it's their legacy at stake. They're going to know everything that's going on. They always do. They're not just going to turn a blind eye to it. So, yes, they know everything that's going on. That's why Jimbo is so defensive anyway, and why he keeps deflecting, and now all of a sudden he's pivoted and said, oh, yeah, we got to regulate this stuff after I've already got, everybody on layaway and got my whole recruiting class in here, I mean –
Kind of like he went shopping back in the day.
Yeah.
He used the word layaway.
Yeah, that's
He
what it
went
feels
shop-
like. Feels like he went to Hills and put everything on layaway in 1985. I mean, whatever.
He just got to finish paying for everybody before the season starts.
Right.
So they can get him out of layaway.
Make sure they got the payment set up. Yeah. Mercy.
Oh, that's about the best way to describe that's
Yep.
about the best way to describe some of these NIL deals, is it not?
That's basically what it is, man.
Is it not? That
Yeah.
it's-
I mean, I'm sorry, but like I said, everything that Jimbo says just makes you, roll your eyes because, come on, man. It's like I tweeted, Jimbo's full of hot air and a lot of other things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jimbo has been asked this question a million times now. He's been asked it during spring football. He's been asked it during the Touchdown Club of Houston. He's going to get asked this a million times at SEC Media Days. He's going to have to go through the gauntlet and go through this again at SEC Media Days. What do you think his response is going to be in Atlanta when we're all sitting? Do you think it's going to be this exact same thing?
I mean, he's going to be ready. They'll have some sort of filibuster response ready to go. I mean, he better win some games. That's all I'm saying, because he's supposed to have a lot of talent, and he's losing 4 games a year, and I think he'll lose at least 3. And I don't think his coaching staff's very good because, again, they took DeMarvin Leal, coached him from a 5-star prospect to a 3rd-round pick. Just because you're a 5-star prospect does not mean you're going to be a first-rounder. But,
No,
again,
it does not.
The kid had a lot of talent. You could see it in fits and spurts at Texas A&M, but he never put it all together. Certainly A&M had a talented football team last year, but quarterback play was a concern. And see, that's another thing. He's supposed to be some quarterback guru. He's not. But anyway, I mean, because he's had several first-rounders, all of them were flops. If you look at him at Florida State, Christian Ponder.
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston is already with his second team.
You can't say he's a flop.
Yeah, I can. He threw 30 interceptions. He's barely hanging on to a starting job in the NFL. He's not become a franchise quarterback. Christian Ponder was an absolute bust. E.J. Manuel was an absolute bust. He hasn't had anybody become a great quarterback in the NFL. Jamarcus Russell, that he coached at LSU, one of the biggest busts in history. Name me one quarterback that he's had, that he coached in college football as a head coach or even as a coordinator, that's become a great player. in the National
But
Football
when
League.
you're
You really
referring
can't.
to him as a quarterback guru, should we refer to him as a quarterback guru that can get the most out of him in the college time?
Well, I think
Because when you go to the NFL, you could be a fantastic college quarterback. Your coach could have gotten everything out of you. But when you go to the NFL and you're on your own and you choose not to go to said meetings, you choose not to do this,
Well,
and you flop out, that's not on
you would
said
think by
college
the law
coach,
of
though.
averages, one of them would be good.
Well, you're right. You're
None
right.
of them have been. Jameis was the closest. I mean, he won the Heisman. He won him a national championship. I mean, he owes Jameis his job right now because if he had choked and lost to Auburn in the national championship game, he might not even be at A&M right now. A&M's hired him because they think he's a national championship winning coach. Of course, they wouldn't know what one looked like considering they didn't have bars on the helmets the last time they won one until Nick Saban comes to town. That's the only time they ever see one.
Yeah.
I mean, I
But
guess.
I mean, I'm just kind of thinking. I mean, I'm like,
They beat another one. They beat Ed Ogeron, but Ed Ogeron got lucky.
I'm just kind of thinking
They
in
won
my
with Gene
head. I'm
Chisholm,
like,
period.
do we
1
hold
year fluke.
these college coaches that we call quarterback gurus? Do we hold them accountable for, is their reputation based on what these quarterbacks do when they leave their college campuses? Kind of like who was the head coach at LSU when Jamarcus Russell was there?
Nick Saban.
So do we hold Nick Saban accountable for
I guess you
Jamarcus
can.
Russell's flops in the NFL?
But I'm just saying, Jimbo Fisher was the coordinator. If he's such a quarterback whisperer, why didn't Jamarcus Russell become a great player? Why didn't all these others? Because I always hear that he's one of the best there is with QBs. Well, if that's the case, why aren't any of them going on to the NFL and being any good with what they've learned in college? Because he's overrated. That's why. He's the best thing he's good at is words per minute. That's the best thing he's good at is I could say something, but on XM radio, I mean, if I was on XM, but that's the thing he's best at doing.
You could say it on XM, but you
Yeah, I
can't say
can't
it here.
say it here. No,
Yeah, please
that's
don't.
One, that's
Kids
one of
are
those,
on their way to
That's one of
school.
those words you can't say, but he's really good at it. I mean, the words per minute, man.
Yes.
Whoever's the stenographer or whatever the hell you call them,
No, that's you said it
that's-
right.
I mean, wow, you got to be able to really type fast. You need to be able to type like 500 words a minute. Because he's good at saying that. You understand?
Kind of like an auctioneer.
Yeah.
He's the auctioneer of college
Right.
football coaches when it comes to press conferences. All right, 256-576-4977. That is how we get you going this morning. And we want to do, and we can hear from you on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977. And obviously, Jimbo's not alone. He says there should be guardrails, and we'll see what he does when there are guardrails, what the collective does there at Texas A&M. But just so that you do know, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey and Pac-12 Commissioner Greg Kliavkoff, they are going to
now?
meet.
I forgot,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, they're going to meet with lawmakers in Washington D.C. today.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to lobby for a federal legislation to regulate NIL stuff.
Yeah.
So Greg Sankey is in D.C. today, and ever since we had the Alston case last summer, 9-0, that they ruled against the NCAA, this is where it all kind of started. This is where it all kind of went downhill and speeding like a locomotive.
Yeah.
Greg Sankey is in D.C. today to start lobbying for something to happen. All right, Floyd is with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Good morning, Floyd.
Good morning, guys. How are y'all?
Morning,
Good.
Floyd.
Just Drew got me cranked up a while ago with the Jimbo talk, and Jameis Winston did everything, I believe, on his own talent. I mean, he there was a lack of discipline there, if you don't believe so. And the way I look at it is, I know I'm old school, but Jimbo showed his true colors when Jameis was suspended for the one game when he was at Florida State, and came out dressed out for warm-up. And Jimbo looked at him and questioned it, and then just threw his arms up and walked off. I'm like, really? I mean, you're supposed to be in street clothes. What are you doing out here dressed out? And I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've expressed my opinions about Jimbo before on here, and they're not very high, but that just showed his true colors, in my opinion.
Well, I agree. I don't think he had much discipline at Florida State. I think that's another reason the program ran aground. That's why when he left, it was in such shambles. They have had Willie Taggart and now Mike Norvell trying to clean it up, but I do think a lot of it just circles back to Jimbo as well, because he didn't care and he let it just run amok. And by the time he left the program, it was in a shambles. He got his money and bailed out, and then went to Texas A&M, and they haven't got return on investment. They had one good team, just like he had 1-2 good year stretch at Florida State. Otherwise, it was a bunch of mediocrity when you go back and look at his record.
And we have. We've picked it apart, and we've combed it through.
His record was mediocre, and so far it's been mediocre at Texas A&M. Totally. You have to tell the truth. I'm not afraid to tell the truth. I have friends over there. Owen Buchanan's a great guy. Billy Lucci's a great guy. They do a great job covering that program, but you can't be afraid to tell the truth. And I just think that right now Texas A&M is not getting the return on their investment, and they're completely mediocre. They think they're about to win a national championship. Maybe they will, but I don't think Jimbo's good enough to do it. I think he got lucky at Florida State. I think he's it's Mo, Larry, and Curley. It's Jimbo, it's Ed Ogeron, and Gene Chizik, and they're the three stooges, and they got lucky.
Whoa.
Period. End of story.
You're going to lump Jimbo Fisher in with all of them.
Absolutely, because you can have a year or two. It's the old Ronnie Staplerism. You can have a great year, but can you have a great program?
Jimbo has been better in the long term than Gus Malzahn and Ed Orgeron.
And I didn't say Gus.
Or I mean.
Gus wasn't
Gene
even
Chizik,
in that.
yeah. Gene
Chizik and Ed Ogeron flamed out. We'll see if he does. I think he's on his way to doing so. But again, you can be you can win a national championship and not be a great coach. In my
I agree
opinion.
with that.
Because everything can line up for you. You can be at a place that has the resources to be a great program, like a Florida State, if you have the right coach, because Bobby Bowden certainly was. And then you can when you had Ed Ogeron, he had tons of talent at LSU. Like you heard Mike Detillier yesterday, it's never been about talent at LSU. It's always been about consistency and coaching. And so he had the perfect mix there. Gene Chizik, I mean, they stumbled upon Cam Newton, who's a generational player. And, he elevated that Auburn program. And they had some other really good players around him. It's not like they didn't have other good players.
Right.
But and again, I'm not talking about Gene Chizik as a person. He's been on the drive. He's a good guy.
No, yeah.
He's back in the game at North Carolina helping out Mac Brown. I mean, good luck to him as a defensive coordinator. I think he's always been a good one. No doubt about that. And Jimbo Fisher's, I think, a good coach, but I don't think he's a great coach. And Ed Ogeron just simply got lucky. He proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that he's a great defensive line coach, which he is. His track record as a D-line coach and a recruiter is, he's got the skins on the wall. But as a head coach twice at Ole Miss and, at LSU, he was a disaster. Period. End of story.
Oh, I agree. A blind squirrel will find an acorn every now and then.
I mean, it's just Coach O was at a place at Ole Miss that's very, very difficult to win. I mean, when what Lane Kiffin did was great last year, but that's the best they've done in the SEC besides 1 year, years ago under Eli Manning with David Cutcliffe, and they finished second. But even then, David Cutcliffe, even though I think he's a very, very solid coach, wasn't able to keep that going, and he ended up, getting fired because he wouldn't make staff changes. But Ole Miss is a place, historically that they've been in the SEC their entire existence just about. They've never been to the SEC championship game. And the only other, program in the West right now is the Texas A&M, and they've been in it now, I guess, about 10 years, and they still haven't, this will be their 10th year, I think, and they still haven't made it.
Yeah, you can't do anything without some semblance of discipline. And with all these recruits they got coming in with their egos and everything, I can't see. I'm like you. I figure they'll lose at least 3 because that's just. I can't imagine being in that locker room with all those egos and everything they got coming in, and whose pocket's thicker and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, it takes roster management to a new level, Floyd. That's for sure.
Well,
All right, guys.
all right, thanks.
Thank you.
I mean, if you can't make the layaway payments on time, they
Yeah.
put the merchandise back on the shelf.
Exactly.
Brandon's with us real fast. Good morning, Brandon.
Guys, morning. Taking a look, I'd love to say something about Jimbo Fisher, but I know Scott ain't got enough time in the hourglass for the days of our lives. But Tennessee has hit, 108 home runs this year?
Something like that. They've been unbelievable, that's for sure.
And LSU's 97 record is 188, if I remember correctly.
I mean, I thought they hit over
Believe that.
200, but I haven't checked the numbers. I know back in those days, the bats were loaded, and a lot of people call it roid ball as well, gorilla ball. But yeah, the ball was just flying out of ballparks.
Well, and I'm with you on that, loaded bats, roids, all that kind of stuff. Do you think the mark that they may set might be what we consider to be the clean home run record? I mean, I know that I think it was BYU. They hit like 150 or 160 right around that time as well. So what Tennessee's doing right now in the day of drug testing, do you think that might be considered a modern-day record?
Well, all I can tell you is that Chris Lee's a great friend, does a great job for Southeastern 14, and he wrote an article several weeks ago about some of this stuff. And let's just say that I'm not so sure that some of the bats that Tennessee's using are legal.
It is revealed. I wondered if I had kind of led the horse to water if he was going to drink.
Yeah,
So,
they've already had an incident where Jordan Beck, who's from Hazel Green, great player, supremely talented kid who was an all-state basketball player for our good friend Danny Anderson, and then went on to be a great baseball player at Hazel Green, one of the best I've ever seen. And he got drafted out of high school. He's certainly well on his way to being a high draft pick at Tennessee, having a hell of a career. He was called out earlier this year because they confiscated a bat when they were playing in a series, as SEC play got started. So we'll see. I mean, there's been a lot of rumors going around about that, not just Tennessee, but that others are using, live bats as well. So, again, there's all that speculation about the baseballs in the major leagues. Well, there's a lot of speculation about bats in collegiate baseball as well.
Yeah, and I have a real problem with Major League Baseball messing with the baseball because they want to talk about people using roids and stuff. Well, you can control a lot through how tightly that ball is wound. And to me, that's one thing that should be the same yesterday, today, and for forever, is that ball should be made to one standard for everybody. But we know that's not happening. And they want to blame the steroid era for all those home runs. Well, who's to say that ball wasn't wound a little tighter and that wasn't helping out then too? Because the ball that Hank Aaron used and Babe Ruth used, we know they're a lot deader then than what we got now.
Yeah.
So, something else. And as far as Jimbo Fisher and be putting on layaway, he's trying to do a Be Kind Rewind right now.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's trying to put the genie back in the bottle kind of deal, man. It's already out. Sorry, bro. So.
Well, he better hope he wins, because if they get these guardrails that they want, then he's probably not going to be able to do as much as he was. But I'm a little bit against some of it. I feel like the Supreme Court blasted what the NCAA did 9-0, because I don't really think the Supreme Court thought there should be any regulation. And, the NCAA says you can have a transfer rule. Then Greg Sankey comes in and says, well, you can't transfer within the conference. I think within a certain window you should be able to.
The problem is the NCAA and in college football and really sports in general, the leaders, the commissioners and everything, they don't work in concert. Everything is always, especially from the NCAA perspective, it's always reactive instead of proactive.
Well, I feel like the players ought to have some rights. Like if I want to be able to transfer, that's fine. Not during the middle of the season.
Yeah.
But at the end of the season, if I want to transfer from Georgia to Kentucky, I shouldn't have to sit out a year for that. If it's in the dead period before spring practice, before any installation has happened, I ought to be able to go wherever I want. And I feel like these commissioners are trying to get it about halfway back to where it was at. We don't need chaos, but the players ought to have a little bit of rights as well as far as where they go. I kind of think maybe once you go somewhere and stay 2 years, then maybe you can transfer wherever you want without restriction. But I think you ought to have to at least give your university where you go 2 years, but after that you can transfer as long as you're not in the live season. Once, I guess you could say, spring and summer camp has begun, you got to make your move for the year by then, which right now the transfer portal date is May 1st, correct? You've got to be in it.
Yes, that has come and
that's
gone.
correct.
Yep.
But you can song and dance all the way till August 1st if you're in it, if you want to, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Once
you
you're
can
in
take
it,
your
you
time,
can
yeah.
go all the way until whatever. Yeah. Yeah, you just have to be in it by May 1st to be technically eligible for the upcoming year. But you can get a waiver, and there's guys that have gone into the portal in the middle of August, have gotten a waiver and have been eligible immediately. So.
Yeah, and it started with all the quarterbacks. So,
Yes.
well, I know y'all are up against it.
Yep.
Man, y'all have a great day, and if you get a chance, try a Thrash Apple Mountain Dew. It'll change your life.
All right. Thanks, Brandon.
Appreciate it.
Let's get our first break in when we come back. Still 256-576-4977. Conversation continues.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Looking good this morning. Traffic's been building quickly, but we haven't found anything accident-wise. No stalls or traffic signal headaches. You be careful on the trip in this morning. Try to get yourself an early start. You might need the time before the morning's over. Great summer start with could call the Y. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Our latest zone deal is upon us. Log on to 977ESPN.com for Gunner's Landing. 2 rounds of golf for the price of 1, including a cart. Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship jewel is open to the public.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us, too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
DQ presents Your Mouth Wonders.
Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Hockey Brewers. Braves radio's on the air at
Looks like the accidents on 565 eastbound around Glen Hern and Wall Triana have been moved to the side of the road. Still a pretty good backup there, but traffic is at least moving through that area. First had a report westbound, but it looks like westbound's all clear. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring.
More of Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on your home for Crimson.
We want to hear from you, 256-576-4977. That is the number 2. The Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We want to hear from you on this Thursday that he has said yesterday to the Houston Touchdown Club. Feel free to get in on that conversation. And where would you rank Jimbo Fish bracket? Would you put him in the average bracket? Would you put him in the very, very good but not elite bracket? Where would you slot him in the college football ranks? Just because Jimbo Fisher is a lightning rod for criticism, a lightning rod for conversation, a lightning rod for everything right now in college football because of, one, them putting together the highest ranked recruiting class that we've ever seen, largely because of name, image, and likeness. So that's why he is a lightning rod.
I'll say that. It is legal. I mean, there's nothing illegal about it. It's kind of unethical what they're doing, but it is legal. I mean, there's no question about it until it gets regulated that it can be handled that way, and certain schools are doing it. And so again,
let me ask you a question.
They're doing what they have to do to compete, I guess, in their mind.
Let me ask you a question, okay? Because we have this Freedom of Information Act that you can through the media, you can go to a school and you can do a Freedom of Information Act, and you can find out anything you want about school. Said contracts of everything. It doesn't take much to do. All it does is take 20 words, you sign a piece of paper, boom, you can have it. Is name, image, and likeness something where we should know? Should we know about all of this? Should we know who's making these things? I mean, should it be known this, or is this something that we don't need to know, we shouldn't know, and it's one of those...
You're never going to know. They're never going to make that public. It's just not going to happen. It's going to be, it's just kind of like, well, Jimbo said it himself. He goes, well, we were doing this years ago. Now it's legal. It's just going to be one of those things where done in the shadows, and you're never going to truly know who's making what. There's just going to be rumors like, to be honest with you, what we're throwing out here is rumors as well. They're strong rumors, but again.
Kind of like the young man going to Tennessee, $8 million.
Yep.
Strong rumor, or, is that a legitimate thing?
It's got to be legitimate. I mean, why else would he be going to Tennessee? Because Tennessee's program has been down. I mean, I'll just be blunt about it. I mean, when you're Nico Iamaleava, you can go anywhere you want. And I know Josh Heupel's got a great system, but he went 6-7. They're coming off a 6-7 year, man. I mean, it's all NIL. Just call it like it is and don't be afraid. Tennessee has a tradition-rich program, but for the last 15-plus years, they've been running in the mud. They have not been winning big. I mean, they had 2 decent years under the champion of life, and he's now at Arkansas State because he couldn't win enough. And Butch Jones, and again, they haven't won an SEC championship, Scott, in over 20 years. I mean, that's a fact. And so
these schools they
haven't won anything in a long time.
These schools that are borderline good, that have had history, and they have struggled over years. They get a 5-star recruit. In the past, it would be, wow, Josh Heupel or new coach in there.
And the transfer portal is going to be continuing to be a topic. Now, they're trying to, cut it down to 2. I know the coaches and transfer portal, because the transfer portal's become a huge story.
Right.
And so, but again, it's just one of those things you have to pivot and adjust. I don't mind the players getting paid. I mean, I felt for years they should be compensated, but I do think it's ridiculous that kids are getting paid, $800,000 before they ever make a play. And what if, what are you going to do if you're investing in a young man? Because that's what these collectives are for. If you do that, if you invest in somebody like that, and they don't become a good player. I mean, and they are a bust, because it's eventually going to happen. How do you get your return on investment? That's a great question.
That is it. I mean, and then you got guys, though. Then you have individuals. You go back to this NFL draft, and I think one of the big cases that came out, or the big topic that came out, was the wide receiver, the young man from Clemson. Very talented wide receiver. His name is
Justin Ross.
Yes. Very talented guy.
From
ends
Phoenix
up with
City.
a knee injury. And because of those injuries.
Well, his actual injury was a spine deal. I mean, it was one of those things where his spinal column was narrowing, and he had to have fusion surgery. And so Justin Ross, it was one of those things where he had 2 good years at Clemson, and he had over 1,000 yards as a true freshman, and then he also had 865 as a sophomore, and then they were he had a stinger in the spring game where he got hit, and he'd had a couple of them, and this one was kind of lingering a little bit, but Ross still thought he was going to be okay, and then they took some X-rays just as a precaution. And they found the narrowing of the spinal column, and he had to have fusion surgery, and he missed a whole year. Then he came back, And the injury you're referring to then, he had a stress fracture in his foot that he played with all of last year until toward the end of the season he finally had.
People are like, hey, if he gets this stuff in college, you know, he may not get his money in the NFL, but he will make it in college. All right, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline if you want to get in on the show this morning. 256-576-4977. And so yesterday we've been talking about this Jordan Addison situation, and now his name has appeared, according to Pete Thamel, his name has appeared in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
So is it USC? Maybe. But the Athletic and other places, well, the Athletic really started it. He is out there. Jordan Addison is the former last year's Biletnikoff Award winner.
Yep.
Fancy wide receiver. Probably the jewel of the transfer portal wide receiver class right now, you would have to say.
100 catches, 1,500 yards, 17 touchdowns.
Well, who's he working out with right now?
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, yes. So now Alabama's name is being mentioned as a possible landing spot because he is working out with Bryce Young. Any fire to that smoke?
Absolutely. Work out with him, maybe to pick Bryce's brain and decide where he's going to go, because once you're officially in the transfer portal, you can communicate with other schools and other folks, and that's what he's doing. He's down there working out, so we'll see. Just to let it play out. Certainly, I felt like Alabama was going to, if they were going to add it at a position, I've said tight end or defensive line, but if you have a chance to add a player of the caliber, of this kid, Jordan Addison, who's had 2 great years at Pitt and was the best wide receiver in the country because, he won the Biletnikoff Award just by a narrow margin over Alabama's Jamison Williams, then you're going to look into that. There's no question about it.
Right.
He's too good not to. And so I think Alabama's going to take a long look at the situation. I'm sure, Jordan Addison's going to weigh his options. He could go back to Pitt. The offensive system, I believe, is going to remain the same. They've got Keaton Slovis there. Coach Narduzzi is, of course, still there, the head coach. Now, he lost his position coach, and that's why some are talking about Texas, because his wide receivers coach left Pitt to go to Texas. So I think Texas is definitely going to be heavily involved. When you go and look at it, folks from USC are following the kid on Twitter. Folks, Steve Sarkisian from Texas following him. Pete Golding followed him yesterday from Alabama. So that's probably your top 3 right there, USC, Alabama, Texas. They're all, would like to add him to their football teams. So we'll see. But, again, if he's just considering his immediate future, you would think Alabama would be the top choice because of the Heisman Trophy winner coming back and some of the other weapons Alabama has offensively. But, again, that's just going to be a process that has to play itself out, and we'll see. But I do think Alabama's heavily involved, but so is Texas and USC.
All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, we're going to wrap up Hour 1. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Still a very slow ride eastbound along 565 coming into Madison. Big stack up between Greenbrier and County Line. Once you get past that area, traffic smooths out quickly. Couple of wrecks reported in that stretch of roadway. HPD's out with 1. It's a no injury. Have you tried numerous weight loss plans and nothing seems to work? Your hormones could be the problem. Find out with a free quiz at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
The Kentucky Derby is this Saturday, and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar is celebrating by offering another awesome zone deal. If you haven't tried our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness, then now is the time to sink your teeth into one of Bad Daddy's award-winning burgers for half price. Our zone deal this week gets you $50 worth of delicious burgers made with premium Angus beef for just $25. Log on 977ESPN.com beginning Friday morning and get your Bad Daddy's zone deal before they're gone. Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth generation Huntsvillian and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough we can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey Wes, we show up.
I'm James Lomax, and I'm running to be your state representative. I'm running because the stakes have never been higher. I was raised here. I attended Grissom High School in UAH, and now my wife Elizabeth and I are building a family here. Through my career in commercial real estate, I've seen firsthand the challenges facing our area, but also the unique opportunities that lay ahead. As your state representative, I will work with other leaders to keep our economy on track while reeling in new industries and being a champion for existing businesses. I'll make sure that we have the best schools in our state and that we get the fair share of road funding and that Redstone Arsenal is promoted. I believe first and foremost that life begins at conception and it must be protected. With fresh, conservative leadership, I'll stand up and fight against a toxic, cancel culture-based agenda, and I'll fight for a better tomorrow in Alabama. I'm James Lomax, and I ask for your vote in the Republican primary on May 24th.
Paid for by Friends of James Lomax, P.O. Box 875, Huntsville, Alabama 35804.
Outdoor season is coming. Can't wait.
Here at Brooks & Collier, neither can we. Outdoor season is also grilling season.
And we have plenty of grills and smokers in stock from Traeger, Blaze, and Big Green Egg.
There's the greenhouse, new indoor items and home furnishings as well.
Whatever it takes. Browse over 2 acres of furnishings. Can't wait.
How about you? North Alabama's indoor and outdoor living headquarters for over 75 years.
813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Hi, welcome back. Talkin Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Neighbors Wealth Management Hotlines where we go to out of the break. Jeff DeBurrow with us on a Thursday. Good morning, Jeff.
How's it going, guys? Morning. Are y'all getting ready for y'all's high school postseasons if they already happened? Or?
Well, yeah, we're in the middle of it. We're in the middle of softball and baseball. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know because I know a guy told me earlier. I didn't know y'all had started. So he said y'all start the middle of February. I thought that was kind of early for y'all spring sports. He told me y'all started baseball. And I don't know. I guess it's all of them. I guess, but he told me y'all started them real early because we don't start till the middle of March.
Right, yeah, we do start it in probably about a month earlier, and right now the classes 1 through 7A are all they're in the quarterfinal round of the playoffs right now, and then softball area tournaments are going on.
Yeah, I didn't know that I thought maybe y'all finished a lot earlier. I know we're just starting. They had a few sports that started postseason, but baseball and softball, some of them started yesterday. They start today, and then the end of May is when we have the spring fling. All the sports come here to Murfreesboro and play. About 4,000 athletes will be here, from parents and fans and everything else all over the state will be down here, and with all the different sports for spring sports that we have. So they'll be down here. They've hosted for about 15, 16 years or something. The state association's done. I think it's close to 30 years now that they've had this, and they've had it all over the state. They had in Chattanooga for a while, for a few years when it started out in Memphis, and they've had Murfreesboro now for, gosh, I don't know, 15, 16 years or more. And people love coming here, and it's a whole week. It's about 4 or 5 days. It's a whole week. People enjoy it and coming down here. And it's something that nobody else we don't do. Nobody else does it like what Tennessee does with all the sports like that. So I know when it first started, states came down here and asked us how we did it, and they studied it. I guess I don't know, but I was gonna say I saw a few of y'all teams early in the season. Softball came down here and played the tournament over spring break. Some softball things. I don't know if y'all have a lot of good ones up there in y'all's area, but I can't remember the schools. I know there was one like Rogers, Alabama. I don't know if that's in y'all's area or not.
It's in the Shoals.
They played some of our teams up here, and they went down there and played and everything. So I don't know how y'all's baseball and softball. Did y'all have a lot of players going to college, to be at major colleges or smaller schools or from those sports?
And baseball players moving on to whether it's Division I. Up in just a few minutes, Jeff Wood. He had a young man recently commit, and talented coaches around our community.
Kids that one's already finished their freshman year playing basketball at Dartmouth, and we've got another one going something to do with business or something. But she turned them 2 schools to go pitch. It's Division III school, so her scholarship's academic. It ain't athletic, but she wanted to go to school there, and there I think it's a relatively new program, and so she wanted to go up there and play. But yeah, it's good to have the opportunities for the kids if they can get a chance to go to school. It to me, I'll see you.
Thanks, Jeff. Jeff in the Borough with us. All right, just a short time left here in hour number 1. 256-576-4977. That's the number of the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, and since we're just about ready to Friday. Hopefully the rain holds off for tomorrow, so all baseball and softball can get played. All right, Bob is with us real fast before we get done with hour 1. Good morning, Bob.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Boy, the morning Jimbo bashing. I think he's a fraud, and what he's doing at Texas A&M it's going to backfire on him. It'll just take a little bit until it bubbles to the top. So, the other thing, and I'm going to be completely honest here, I'm a Georgia fan. 2021 national champion Georgia. Go there. He's the best. Everybody knows it, and he pumps more guys in the NFL than anybody. I want to get your thoughts on Kirby as a head coach and what he's done in his 6 years at Georgia and the talent he's recruited, but more importantly, everybody knows he's a good recruiter. But what he's done with it, 15 NFL draft picks this year, and I think people don't talk about him enough when it comes to development and this morning. But I enjoy the Jimbo bashing.
Appreciate it.
Well, Jimbo's making it pretty easy to Jimbo bash right now.
It's pretty simple because he acts like everybody fell off a turnip truck and doesn't know what actually is going on, and all this denial stuff, and one lie after another, in my opinion, where he's not telling the complete truth. But with Kirby, he has recruited very well. That's the reason they're so talented. He has done a great job developing guys on defense. I would kind of take umbrage with the offensive part. I think the offensive part has been basically hit and miss, but they've been good enough offensively because of playing complementary football, because I think he's put together really good special teams. They've had outstanding kicking and punting as well, and solid return guys, but especially defensively, they've been really good. They've just tried to play complementary football. They're not the most explosive offensive group, and I think that held him back until last year everything kind of lined up. I'm anxious to see where they go from here, though, like if you can get a guy like Arch Manning. But that's where I think Kirby does a great job defensively, still not sold offensively on what they're doing.
All right, there's a lot to get through in there. We'll do that as the week goes on. Hour 2 kicking off next. Talking Ball.
If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Call 256-713-0575. live.
When I chose a garage door company, I did like what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm still seeing a big backup of traffic eastbound on 565 between Greenbrier and County Line. Once you get to County Line, eastbound traffic seems to move again. Had one report of a wreck in that stretch of roadway on the eastbound side. HPD's working that one as a no injury. Popeye's $6 shrimp tackle box is back with 8 of the butterfly shrimp, a signature side, and a buttermilk biscuit. University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. A couple of scattered showers are going to be possible across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Significantly better opportunity for a more widespread shower and thunderstorm activity moves into our area as we head into the overnight early into your Friday morning. Some of that activity could pack a bit of a punch. Some heavy rain, some very gusty winds. Temperatures Thursday afternoon climbing into the mid and upper 80s. We're going to push 90 degrees. Looks like we're going to fall just shy. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Atlanta Braves off tonight. Atlanta starting a weekend series at plus 700. Corey Connors at plus 1,800. Tony Finau and Matthew Fitzpatrick at plus 2,000. Doing the East for.
Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977.
Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Maybe the reason why I wanted to keep thinking today is Friday, because when we do wake up tomorrow, we will get the resumption of our high school. Is it safe to say this may be their biggest home baseball series in the playoffs ever?
You could argue that. I mean, I think it's going to be probably the biggest crowd ever. I mean, you're taking on a Hartsell team that really many people still believe won the 6A state championship over Faith Academy last year. It was a heartbreaking way they were, kind of robbed of it in a way. You still give credit to Faith Academy. Officially, they won it, but I think a lot of people believe Coach Booth won another title last year, and they've certainly performed very well this season. They're the number one team in 6A baseball, but we're blessed to have a lot of talent in North Alabama and in Madison County, really, baseball-wise. Certainly, the Buckhorn Bucks and the Hazel Green Trojans from the same area, have both had very, very strong seasons. Buckhorn now has earned their way, and that's the way what it is with the baseball playoffs, man. Everything is 2 out of 3 now, so it's been that way for many years. And so when you when you start getting down to the nitty gritty, which this is the nitty gritty, when you start talking about the quarterfinals, these are the cream of the crop. You definitely earn your way winning 2 out of 3 against some extremely quality competition, and certainly Buckhorn has done that. They certainly did it. Beating Pell City in round 1 and then beating Oxford in round 2. And now, and then they've got a chance to, beat Hartsell and make a huge statement for their program. And their head baseball coach is with us, Jeff Wood, who's been in his second tenure with Buckhorn. Now he's took over for longtime coach Roger Wright, and he has elevated this Buck program to one of the best in the state of Alabama, and he's been good enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach Wood, you're with Drew DeArmond and Scott Tyson. How are you this morning?
Doing well, guys. How are y'all?
We're doing well,
good,
man.
Coach.
How are you?
No.
Did beat Pell City in round 1, but I know my fault, Coach. That was Hazel Green that beat Oxford in round 2. My apologies there.
Yeah, I don't want to take none of Coach Wright's glory on that big win.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, it's already
the other
big,
Coach Wright. Yeah, that's right.
It's a big week for you guys, and to make it even bigger, Kyle Wright comes through and helps out the students, just so that you can trap from the students, I should say.
Oh yes. Man, that just shows. I mean, we didn't reach out to him; he reached out to us, and that just shows you what kind of person that he is, and how he was raised. And of course, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know how close I'm going to be with that family. But that's just how, like I said, how he was raised by his parents, and how he's come along, and how he loves his community and loves his program.
No doubt, Coach. And it was a huge win last week, against Pell City in the second. I know it's going to be a situation where it could be I know you've had some great environments. Certainly, you guys played in a tough area with Hazel Green and had some great battles with them. But this series with Hartsell's got a chance, I guess, to really be
where you can feel it. The administration, students, the community has been awesome. Of course, we knew that it would because they always are. And it does help us playing in the area that we do. It does help us playing a big rival series, not just game, but series. With people everywhere when we play Hazel Green, and Addison does the same thing. It's just not where you see a lot of just 2-team areas. Here, we're fortunate to have 3. Some even have 4, but it's very competitive, and it helps us as we get into the playoffs, and it makes it more exciting. I hate to use the word comfortable, but they've been there, they've seen it. At least a little bit.
Let's talk about the first 2 series, though. You get Jasper in that first round,
right,
and
then
you got Pell City in the second round. The Jasper one, let's talk about it. Well, what's gone right in both of those series that's propelled you to get to this quarterfinal matchup with Hartsell?
Oh, it's the team the whole year. It really is the 2 series. Of course, those are most important because that's what we've been down in a couple of these series. In these games, and we've able to come back and take the victory. We've done that, a lot throughout the season as well. Whether it be down by 9 or down by 4, we've able to at least, come back and we've done that twice, or we've done it more than that. But there's just a whole lot of fight in these guys, and that's what they're going to need this week for sure, because Hartsell's a very good program. But yeah. And the pitching has been solid. Dylan Campbell's been really good on the mound for us. He hasn't allowed an earned run yet in the playoffs. But we've also been, kind of nagged by injuries as well. But yes, going into this year, I felt that this group was, and that just tells you how good they are. That we can go through a little bit of adversity, or a lot of adversity, and still be able to compete at a level that we've been competing at.
Well, Coach, you kind of alluded to it, that in order to, stay in this one with Hartsell, you're going to have to keep doing what you've been doing in these first 2 series. When you look at this Hartsell team coming in, we kind of alluded to it. They have a lot of postseason success. They're kind of feeling about the way you guys are right now. Very confident, very good. How do you contain all of this, being at home? The large crowd, the expectations now against a team that they've proven over years that they can get it done in the postseason against a Hartsell squad.
Oh, when you face a Hartsell squad, it's kind of like us. We play really well at home. We've lost 2 games, and in the last 2 years at home, and guess who that was? That was Hartsell. So they're going to be ready to go. Like I said, they've been good throughout the beginning of time, I believe. And even this year, they're that much better because they're in the same we are. They didn't lose anyone as well. And you're right. A lot of people do feel that they were robbed of a state championship last year. That makes them even more hungry. And it's it's going to be a difficult task for us, and we're looking forward to that. It's the challenges and the opportunities that we have to get our program to the next level.
And I know you learned a lot from your time with Coach Wright, baseball coach, for what it's been like trying to elevate this Buckhorn program. But again, you took over for a great coach in Coach Wright, who himself is a Madison County Hall of Famer, who spent a long time also at Lee High School as a player and coach. But I know he got this program to a certain level. But how has it been taking over for him and kind of taking and trying to elevate this Buckhorn program?
Oh well, I hate to use the word elevate because I don't think it's that I've done anything to elevate this. It's just, I mean, we have a lot of the same values, a lot of the same,
I guess the best way to say it would be continue what he built.
Yes, there you go. Man, I mean, because I spent time with him, and it's, I mean, we still talk 3 to 4 times a week.
Oh, yeah.
And the stuff that he's instilled in these guys, I mean, we just try to carry it on. I consider myself very lucky to be able to have coached up under him for the 5 years that I was up under him. And like he'll tell you, coaching changes. Your coaching philosophy's kind of changed. Right when you first get out, it's about the wins, the competition, and getting after it. And that kind of evolves into it's about relationships and stuff like that, and having having a solid relationship with the boys and instilling that to where they can succeed in life. And he's been great for us all year. Well, the last 2 years, and he was game 1 against them last year, and we were very competitive against them last year. We were up 3-1 in the 6th. And throughout the season, throughout the playoffs, and that's what we're going to continue to do. But game 2 just depends on what happens. That's how we've handled it throughout the area series and the.
Like I said, Coach, you earn everything you get once you get into the baseball playoffs, whether it be the round 1 and you guys had to go on the road to beat a really talented Jasper Viking squad, no doubt about that, and they were very hotly contested games. And then, getting a chance to host Pell City, I know you had to be excited about that, and now you get a chance to host Hartsell. But, again, it doesn't get any easier, but your team has responded very well thus far, looks like, in the playoffs. I know none of these 4 games have been easy by any stretch, but, again, finding a way to win.
Oh, yes. I mean, Jasper was actually a 3-game set, and it was a 3-0 game, a 3-2 game in 9 innings that we lost, and then we won 8-7 on Saturday. So, yeah, I mean, and Pell City was the same way. We won the last game 1-0, and we were down in the first game 6-3. So,
yeah, and won that one 9-6. Yep.
Yeah. And so yes, it's been a difficult road, and we prevailed throughout that road, and we expect to compete hard like we have been, and playing hard and fighting like we have the first 2 series and this 3rd one.
No question about it. And, Coach, am I correct in saying that I know it was this way during basketball, but is everything, all the tickets on GoFan, is that how the people have a chance to attend?
Yes, sir. We have that out there. Probably Hartsell has that out there. It's a link for GoFan to purchase the tickets. That's AHSAA.
That's
yes,
right.
All right, Coach. Well, hopefully everything is good. Hopefully the weather cooperates tomorrow. Going to be a fun time just to come out and watch some high school baseball.
Well, even if Saturday looks good, so even if there's a delay, I think hopefully they'll be able to get these series in. But, Coach, what's going to be the key for your squad to beat this Hartsell team?
Staying positive and keep fighting like we've been fighting, because that's where we're strong at. All of our guys, we don't have, superstars. We have guys that play hard every day, and that's all throughout the lineup. And they're all special. We've mentioned names here, but they're all every one of them are special, and they're a special group. And the best thing, if something goes wrong, we have to stay on top of it and keep fighting and get that game close, because they're very good, very good. Be the best thing that we've seen all year, and we've seen some competition. And that's something they got on. Just in this county, the baseball is just great. Great coaches, great players, great competition throughout. And, that plays into us, but they've also seen it as well. So it's just going to be, fighting to the last out's made.
Well, to come over to Alabama, I know that was part of the attraction, I'm sure, to the competition level over here in this state, and especially in North Alabama, and what you've done taking over for Coach Wright and continue to enhance Buckhorn baseball has certainly been something that's been a sight to see. And congratulations to your program thus far on the 2 out of 3 against Jasper and then the sweep against Pell City. And hopefully you guys can move on to against Hartsell. It's a very, very difficult challenge, but I know it's one you guys are looking forward to.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is. I mean, everybody in 6A knows in order to get to that blue map, you're going to have to go through Hartsell. And that's something that we're looking forward to the challenge.
Well, we certainly are looking forward to that as well. Thank you, Coach Wood. We appreciate your time, and good luck to you in the next round.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Great stuff there. Let's get a break in. When we come back, conversation continues. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's a slow ride on 565. Looking at specialists can help keep your heart healthy. Captain Nick in the North.
The Braves are out to defend their world championship. And behind Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna, Dansby Swanson, Max Fried, and this loaded 2022 roster, a repeat is within reach.
There goes Ozzie, 2-2 on the way, hit well. Deep center.
Huge moment.
Surgery and walk-in clinic and so much more. 4 locations and on the...
Picture this. You stand before the awe-inspiring new signature stack burger menu at DQ and your mouth wonders, where have you been all my life? That's 5 taste bud tempting cheeseburgers with 100% real burger menu.
A Bob Wallace appliance. Chris, what sets you apart?
Breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny line at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more.
ESPN The Zone.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to The Zone.
ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you for about another 30 minutes, a little over 30 minutes. And coming up later today, really the city of Huntsville becomes a hotbed for lacrosse. Because coming up later tomorrow, you get the Peach Belt host to Flagler. And then coming up today, you get the A-Sun Conference Tournament. That is going on over at Milton Frank Stadium. Robert Morris, Bellarmine, Air Force, and Utah all in town for the A-Sun Men's Lacrosse Tournament. So Huntsville kind of becoming a hotbed for lacrosse. And this coming interview that we have is going to be sponsored by Sportsmed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. They're a proud sponsor of the UAH Chargers, and they invite you to visit their Saturday sports clinic for all of those sports-related injuries. Each Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., 4715 Whitesburg Drive. It's the SportsMed Saturday Sports Clinic, and they are a big part of our UAH interviews that we do during the season.
Yes, they are, no doubt. And we are honored to be joined by the lacrosse coach of the UAH Chargers as he has joined us this morning. We've been looking forward to talking some lacrosse today as we're going to talk to Connor Doyle, the head lacrosse coach, I should say. We were used to talking to Coach Studeman, but they are the softballs involved in the Gulf South Conference tournament right now. They're trying to win a championship and her storied tenure there. But this is really the newest sport on campus for UAH, still really early in the program's history. But Connor Doyle is now going to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing this morning?
We're doing well. You're with Scott and Drew here on Talkin Ball, and exciting times for this young program.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of a year that we knew we could do something special, and we went through some trials and tribulations this year, but I think we're starting to see kind of the payout of those hard times here. So we're definitely kicking it into high gear and excited for the Peach Belt playoffs here. Yeah,
Coach, this is your second year with the program. Last year you come in, you get this team all the way to the Peach Belt championship game of the tournament. Now you're back in the tournament again. Talk Talk about kind of elevating this program on the men's side.
Yeah, so, for us last year, that was the first for us, going to the championship and, kind of being in that big game moment. And it was a big learning experience for us. And, you don't always have to win, in this sport to learn a lot. And, last year we were, pretty young, had some really key pieces, in the freshman and sophomore classes. And then, this year that's kind of rolled over. Those guys, have a little chip on their shoulder from last year. And we've taken that in stride, in every game that we've had this year. So now, again, with that chip on our shoulder, we look to do some damage, in the conference playoffs here.
And Coach, how getting this program established and only being in its second year, how has that process gone over? Because again, this was a sport that UAH added. But it hasn't taken long for you to become very competitive. Take the listeners kind of through the process of building this program so quickly.
Yeah, so, I got here about 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago now. And so, I took over a great program, guys that were ready to work, that hadn't really been, pushed to that level yet. And, so I had a very receptive, and it makes my life, a lot easier. But, UAH, it really sells itself, as far as the recruiting goes and getting people to campus. Our school itself is just absolutely gorgeous. The academics are incredible. And then, I think on the athletic side, we're really starting to ramp that up. We have a ton of successful programs at UAH, and lacrosse being a newer sport, like you guys said, I have no doubt in my mind that, we can definitely take this program, to some pretty high heights here.
Yeah, lacrosse in this area, on the club-wise, the club scene, it is very big. It's not a high school sanctioned sport.
That's what I was going to say.
So what is it like trying to get guys to come to UAH to play lacrosse in an area where it is fastly growing? I mean, there's a lot of guys that play lacrosse here, but it's still unfamiliar to a lot of people in this area.
Yeah, so I think the first thing, and something that's kind of started to spark up here in the last couple of years, is starting it at the youth level, and getting in with the younger guys. Like I had a lacrosse stick in my hand when I was 5 years old. Down here, it's definitely not, the same. A lot of guys don't pick up the stick until, sophomore, freshman in high school. And so we're trying to change that. And, I think with getting the interest at a younger age, that really sparks, the love for the sport. And, we're starting to see it grow here. Within the city of Huntsville itself, in the state itself. And, if I had to put a guess on it, it's going to be, probably the fastest growing sport here in the state, if it isn't already. There's a lot of interest in it. We, our staff at UAH on our lacrosse side, we're helping out start a club program up here this summer, to get more, people involved. It's going to be blue lacrosse. And so it'll be, a lot of people coming in, to the program, getting really good coaching and really starting to develop our players, in the state. And I think that's the most important part, is getting these kids, snake bitten by the sport, and then on top of that, developing, our guys on top of it.
Because we've seen it. I mean, I see it on ESPN all the time. It's a huge deal on the East Coast, and especially in the ACC on the Division I level. I mean, on that level of the sport, that league really dominates it in many ways.
Yeah, they do. I mean, that is a different level of lacrosse. I mean, those guys are incredible. I watch some of them play, and I'm still mind blown. And I've been, playing lacrosse for the better part of 25 years of my life. So, I watch them, and it's incredible what they do, out on the field.
Well, Coach, let's talk about your team real fast. The Peach Belt Conference hands out their postseason awards. And congratulations to you, Coach of the Year in the Peach Belt Conference. But you also pick up Co-Freshman of the Year in Hunter Coleman as well. And 9 different Chargers recognized along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just a true testament, to what these guys put in, day in and day out. We ask a lot of our guys. I mean, it is 6 days a week. Going through the year is an absolute grind. We battle through injuries. We battle through, the mental side of it with classes. And these guys, went to work this year. They really put, their best foot forward and gave me, everything that they have. I mean, there's still some food left on the plate here this year. But for the most part, I mean, these guys have done an incredible job. They make my life a lot easier, by what they do, every day. And again, I'm happy for our guys to, be rewarded with some of these accolades. And I think that just shows the promise, of this team and, what we have kind of in the tank here as a program.
Well, Coach, you do get Flagler, the number 4 seed in the Peach Belt Conference Tournament tomorrow at home. You've seen them April 23rd. You got a 14-6 win against them. Kind of a short turnaround from the last time that you faced them.
Yeah, we are definitely familiar with the Flagler Saints. Not playing them too long ago, but we're excited. For tomorrow under the lights. It'll be pretty cool. Hopefully the weather can hold off for us here. We don't get too much rain or thunderstorms or anything like that. But teams on campus, and hopefully we can have a good showing out there and take care of business.
And Coach, I mean, with your squad, what areas have you seen them improve the most during the journey of this season in the second year? I know you talked about making them uncomfortable, trying to get them to improve in certain areas. Where have they improved the most in your mind?
Yeah, I think it comes down to just the overall mental fortitude. We have a group of guys that, we've been down in games this year, and, I hate to say it, but we've been down more than we've been up in games. And so, weird aspect is not something that I can teach. It's not something that, I can, lay out for these guys. I mean, it is ingrained into our program. We are a blue-collar team. We're not the flashiest. And so, if we win, the conference tournament here, it goes into a regional ranking system. And to be honest with you, I don't know where we rank in that right now.
Something similar to what we see in the way basketball postseason is run, and even baseball with Hunter Royer and Coach Studeman in softball.
Long time, but when you're looking at where
it'll fly by though.
To where we are now, it's come a long way. So I think in the next probably 5 to 7 years, we should be seeing automatic qualifiers, and hopefully by winning the Peach Belt, we'll be going to the NCAA tournament.
That would be an awesome thing, no doubt about it.
Well, and Coach, I mean, you're no places. Is the Gulf South Conference any closer to getting a lacrosse?
I don't think so. A lot of the Gulf South teams, they have. I don't think GSU will go and have lacrosse and sponsor lacrosse. I think it'll probably stay, with the Peach Belt, for the next good bit here.
Well, UAH has never had football. They've had hockey, but we know what happened there. But they were able to add lacrosse. It looks like they're getting solidly behind your program, Coach. It's going to be a well-funded sport, and they're going to give you the tools you need. And to already have a winning season and to have just shows that UAH lacrosse has hit the ground running, and certainly
through, with our SIDs, with Cade Smith helping us out on a lot of different things. In his role that he's taken over as athletic director. I mean, we have. Just a ton of people behind our program right now, and it is extremely exciting, for us. And again, it's exciting for me in my role and seeing this program grow. After competing against, UAH for so many years, it's now good to be on the other side of it, joining the team here, at UAH, and then going head to head with these programs.
Coach. Well, again, it all gets underway tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Charger Park, Peach Belt Conference Men's Lacrosse Tournament. How many teams come in for the tournament? 4?
So we have four total teams.
Okay. UAH plays tomorrow, Flagler, 7 o'clock at Charger Park. Fun times indeed. Well, Coach, thanks for jumping in and helping us preview this and talking lacrosse. We haven't had a chance to talk a lot of lacrosse.
Hey, well, thank you guys for having me on. Anytime you guys want to talk lacrosse, you give me a call, all right?
Absolutely, Coach. We appreciate it, and continued success, and congratulations on what you've accomplished thus far.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Today's interview brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. Give them a call today, 256-881-5151, to experience the SportsMed difference. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives. And, the UAH women wrapped up their conference tournament last week.
Yeah.
The men have theirs this week. The ASUN tournament is going on over at Milton Frank starting today. I don't know a lot about lacrosse. That is one sport I've watched a little bit.
Doyle's done a great job in his second year already establishing UAH as a force in the Peach Belt Conference. And, again, it's a little bit different because the GSC doesn't have lacrosse.
Yeah.
And so you have to, compete in a different league with a few different schools because much of the GSC has football and UAH never has. They've been the outlier with hockey, but now they've pivoted to lacrosse, and certainly Connor Doyle's done a great job of elevating that program, and got to give him a lot of credit. And again, I'll be the first to say I've never played lacrosse in my life. I've watched it on ESPN. I've watched the Johns Hopkins. I've watched the Marylands. I've watched North Carolina. All these powers on the East Coast and in the ACC dominate the sport. But I've not been as familiar with it, and I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine last night, and he's got a mutual friend in the sports business who called it Laceros, and I was like, well, I at least know how to pronounce it, lacrosse. I mean, I couldn't stop laughing, but I mean, I do at least know, it's played with a stick. It's almost like hockey, without the skates a little bit. It's some of the concepts, but again, what Coach has done, Connor Doyle has been nothing short of amazing because we started hearing about this a couple of years ago. They were going to add lacrosse to the UAH stable of athletics and already making waves.
All right, so Montevallo and Lander will play tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And then UAH and Flagler will play at 7 o'clock. So that is the Peach Belt Conference. I wanted to say it, Gulf South Conference, but it's the Peach Belt Conference tournament going on over at UAH. And then today, you got Robert Morris, Bellarmine Air Force in Utah playing in the ASUN Division I conference tournament. That is going on over at Milton Frank Stadium.
Yeah, and I just want to apologize again to Coach Jeff Wood. I stumbled all over myself, sounded like an idiot during part of that interview. I was trying to keep Hazel Green and Buckhorn straight in my head because they're from the same area. They've both gotten to the quarterfinals. They both won their first 2 rounds. But I got my wires crossed there. Absolutely, Coach Jeff Wood's Buckhorn Bucks. You were talking about that Jasper Viking series on the road. That was just an absolute war in the first round. If they won 2 out of 3, they were able to finally subdue them. As he said, they won 3-0 and then lost 3-2 and then win 8-7. So it was just an unbelievable series that Buckhorn wins. And then they turn around and then they host, as I said. I got that correct. They hosted Pell City, swept them, but it was still tight games. As you heard Coach say, they had to come back to win 9-6 in game 1. They were down 6-3. And then they won a 1-0 shutout in game 2. So they've done an outstanding job in that 5-game run, and now they take on Coach Booth's Hartsell Tigers, which has as much tradition as anyone in the whole state of Alabama. Coach Booth is the all-time winningest coach in the history of the state. They're coming over to Buckhorn. Should be an unbelievable atmosphere. Coach Wood's done a great job since coming over back to Buckhorn after the 1 year at Scottsboro. Before that, he was the head coach at Alcorn Central, and I know he was an assistant coach at Warren Central. So he has extensive experience in the state of Mississippi and the state of Alabama, and he's done a great job, and we just appreciate him for coming on. And we try to give a spotlight to a lot of these programs that are competing for state championships. And certainly right now it's an exciting time with Buckhorn Athletics, with Matt Patterson doing what he's done, turning around the football program. Coach Patrick Harding is definitely on the way to doing that with Bucks basketball, and now what Coach Wood's doing. And we know Coach Rawls has won multiple state titles at Buckhorn softball-wise, so certainly some great athletics over there at Buckhorn. And I know someone just tweeted at us at 977 ESPN, Scott. There's also track and field state championships going on this week as well.
Yeah, that's going down in Mobile. And do they still do the split state championships? They used to have half of it in Mobile and the other part of it in Coleman, I think. But I'll just have to look and see. But yes.
Evan tweeted at us, and he said track and field state championships start today, 4A, 7A in Gulf Shores, 1A, 3A tomorrow. And then he was saying it's crazy fast. 800 meters, 1,600 meters, 3,200 meters, and the number 2 4x800 team is in the nation will be competing in those state championships. So a lot of action going on in Gulf Shores.
Yeah, there is. State track, very big, and it's very good. Whitesburg Christian Academy, no stranger
they're
to
a power,
success there
That's
in
right.
the 1A, 2A. When it comes to track, Randolph, I know, Huntsville High, all of them.
Blake Borden, what he's done,
a lot of great success there. So let's get our final break in when we come back here. Tomorrow's headlines today.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The Atlanta Braves are back on the field, and this reloaded roster is fired up to defend their crown and run it back in 2022.
1-2 coming. Crushed.
And ready for a huge playoffs rematch against Christian Yelich and the Milwaukee Brewers. Braves Radio's on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete.
We are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship Jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's Club Repair Shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslandinggolf.com. That's gunnerslandinggolf.com.
Had a report of a wreck on the Parkway northbound somewhere around Governors. They've checked. They're not finding any problem there. We got traffic control going on at Governors and Whitesburg. They're working on the traffic signals. Had a report of a wreck in Athens, 72 eastbound at I-65. I don't see any problem in that area. No hose, no mask. You could ask Dr. Sandman, that's Dr. Sandlin, for the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Welcome back, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and we were right. I had a feeling that they split the state track meet up.
We did some
and
research.
I was right there.
Yep.
The outdoor state track and field, which, by the way, to me makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
This is one of those things that
we keep up with all the major sports, and what I mean by that, state championships that we cover. We always it's usually football, basketball, baseball, softball, stuff like that, and soccer.
Yes, that is coming up here in another week.
All those sports are played when you have a state championship decided. They're all at one place split.
Tomorrow, Huntsville High will take on Vestavia Hills in boys soccer.
Yeah.
And the winner of that one will play at John Hunt Park in the Final Four for Class 7A.
That's big for
So
Huntsville.
that is coming up tomorrow. So both
against Vestavia Hills, that's a huge matchup.
Yeah. I believe –
yeah.
So that's going on over at John Hunt Park. If you've not been to John Hunt Park and seen what they've done to the soccer fields and the lighting over there, they've redone the fencing.
It's why we've been fortunate to keep it in our community. But, I mean, as well as being a power for many, many years, certainly Huntsville High, Grissom has been very, very good. We've been very fortunate to have really good soccer. JP2 has now got good programs as well. So we're just very fortunate and blessed to have great soccer here, and that's one reason why we've been able to attract the state championships, because we have outstanding facilities, and those folks do a great job. The Huntsville Sports Commission and everyone associated with John Hunt Park.
All right, tell me you didn't see this one coming. The Oakwood Adventist Academy has indeed filed a lawsuit against the Alabama High School Athletic Association.
How can you not?
On behalf of, I got to make sure I get this right, the South Central Conference of Seventh-day Adventists.
Right.
They filed the lawsuit against the AHSAA on behalf of Oakwood Academy on Tuesday. So tell me you didn't see that one coming.
Oh, I mean, of course. But you got to have some flexibility here if you're going to allow Oakwood to compete. You got to the rules and how they and the Sabbath and everything like that with how it affects the way they can compete on certain days of the week, especially on Saturdays.
Right.
So you've got to know going in, and you've got to work with them. I'm sorry. There's got to be some schedule flexibility ahead of time instead of, sticking your head in the sand and acting like, well, we sanctioned them and they signed up. They knew what they were signing up for. No, you've got to make some concessions here, and it's not being unfair. It's allowing them to compete. Okay, that's not being unfair. It's especially if you're telling the schools ahead of time, hey, this could happen. It's not being unfair to anyone, and quite frankly, I think the other schools would be more than happy to compensate and help them out and change their schedule just because. I think the sportsmanship in the state, and what is the mantra of the AHSAA? That's one of their biggest things is pushing sportsmanship and doing things the right way. Well, they completely screwed this up and dropped the ball, okay? Totally. It was botched, and it didn't have to be.
All right, yeah. So 256-576-4977. That is the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline.
Looks like we got breaking news from Ben Thomas. Looks like the AHSAA has already responded to it, Scott.
To the lawsuit?
Yeah, well, it says it responds to Oakwood Academy's religious freedom lawsuit.
Okay, what'd they say?
Well, I'm just bringing it up here. I'm saying just in the last few seconds. Here it is. Yeah, there it is. It just came up. Just as they're disappointed over the lawsuit is the headline by the AHSAA.
They're disappointed in it.
Yeah.
You had to know it was coming.
Yeah. That's all I could do is chuckle and I guess they're using they're
Oakwood's Oakwood's membership is 100. This is from the AHSAA.
Yeah.
Oakwood's membership is 100% voluntary. When Oakwood applied for membership, there was a very specific discussion concerning the fact that playoff games were usually on Friday and Saturday. Knowing this, Oakwood acknowledged in writing that they were expected to participate in all scheduled playoff games without petition or forfeit, and their request to join was granted with the understanding that they agree to participate in all championship play without petition or forfeit. All they asked to do was change the
Move
time.
a game. All they asked you to do was move a game.
That's all
It's
they
not
wanted
an
to
act
do.
of Congress. They reschedule playoff games all the time because of weather. You can do it for religious reasons. There's no reason it's not being done.
They didn't ask to change the venue. They didn't
No.
ask to do anything
In
else.
other words, it's more archaic, stupid, backward thinking from the AHSAA. Period. End of story.
Oh, my goodness.
Jimbo Fisher level of thinking here. Apologies, they did beat the Jasper Vikings 2 out of 3. They did sweep the Pell City
Yes.
Panthers, and now they're going up against William Booth's Hartsell Tigers, ranked number 1. It will be over at Buckhorn. Get tickets on GoFan. Appreciate him joining us, and we appreciate talking UAH lacrosse, not Laceros today.
Yeah, with Connor Doyle there. Good luck to them. All right, everybody. Good luck to everything that's going on here in Huntsville. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Friday. Well, we'll bring the smarts.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage.